Welcome to Yeukai Business Show, UK's premier business show where we feature business thought leaders, high achievers, and industry experts. Today's episode is brought to you by World Outsourcing Solutions Limited, a company that specializes in helping executive business owners with virtual assistant services and business growth systems. Here's your host.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. It's Trevor Stockwell with you here today. Now, I know today's guest is going to help us sharpen our minds because she helps entrepreneurs and professionals to conquer their mental game. So Roli is a personal development blogger and a digital marketer. And one of the ways that she helps clients is to help them build a personal development plan. Now, if you don't have one, I would highly recommend that you get one. But stay tuned. She's going to explain a bit more about what all that means shortly. She's published hundreds of articles on self-education, mindset, and all of those type things. She's an expert in her field. So it's great to have the opportunity to chat with you. Welcome, Roli Edema.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here. Looking forward to having a chat about all the things you mentioned.
Yeah. No, it's going to be really good. One of my favorite subjects as well. So that's always a good thing. Maybe to start with, share a little bit about your background, your journey that's brought you to becoming such a successful blogger as you are.
Yeah, so right now in 2021, I'm here in Canada, but I actually grew up in the UK, lived there for a good portion of my life, and I'm Nigerian too. But the reason why I got into the personal development space was really because I struggled with shyness when I was growing up. I was a really shy kid. I had a lot to say, but I just struggled with actually getting it out there, expressing myself the way I wanted to. So for me, writing was my greatest escape. I absolutely loved writing because then I could express myself in a way that maybe I wouldn't be able to do in person. And I started reading personal development books, introducing myself to that whole world. And I found that I gradually became more confident, sharing my work with people online. And then, I found a way to overcome shyness. And that was amazing for me because I was like, if I can, overcome this, then I would love to share my journey with other people too.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, definitely. We'll explore that more in a moment. And maybe my first question is tied up really in that anyway. But when you say you help people conquer their mental game, elaborate a little bit more. What do you mean by that?
The mental game, I love talking about it because, this podcast is, people who are listening are business owners. And many times we do focus on the logistics, the physical plans of how we get things done, getting the business strategy. But an area that's often overlooked is the mental game. What do I bring to the table mentally? Do I have all the skills and do I have the mindset that will help me overcome the challenges that I face in business? So long before, I ever, started blogging as a business, the thing for me was to master this mental game, to learn from successful entrepreneurs and to really find a way to take lessons from them that would help me build the resilience that, you need to survive in the business world. So I think motivation and the mental game is definitely important.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think one of the reasons why you're as effective as you are in communicating it is because you've lived it first, haven't you? You've worked out how it works for you, the experiences that you've had, and then you're able to communicate that in a way that connects with other people as well. So, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Brilliant. So you mentioned resilience as well, and mental fortitude is also a good, attribute. Habit maybe is more of a better way of putting it. What would be some of the things for people that are listening and think, yeah, she's right, I need to be more resilient, or I'm wrapped up in my business doing the stuff and I'm not working on myself enough? What would be a couple of the things maybe initially that people could think through or just be aware of that would flag up maybe certain things that they need to to address?
Yeah, I think the one of the most important areas in which this comes up is if you're just starting a business, because it's easy for people to get wrapped up and think that their business is going to be an overnight success. One author, Jonathan Field, said that there's no such thing as an overnight success, rather it's overnight exposure. So, things are not always going to happen as quickly as we want. So, yeah, a question, you can ask is, how long do I think I can stick with this? Am I prepared to keep going if, 6 months down the line, I'm not where exactly I wanted to be? Will I give up then? Will I keep going? Yeah, mental fortitude is, that's inner strength that you build up, and it's a decision. It's a deliberate decision that you make. It's kind of like, you don't just wait and see, what things are like, but you make the decision from day one that you're going to be in it for the long haul. One example, that I love to reference myself is Amazon. They were launched in 1994 and they weren't profitable for 7 years. Okay. So, business owners, it's definitely like, be willing to be patient and to, keep going even when things are tough right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, that's good. Yeah. Amazon have done rather well now, haven't they? So it was good that they they stuck with it. Not that we're affiliates, so we don't get a plug or pay for plugging them. Not at all. But no, you're right. And I guess also maybe for people that have been in business a long time as well, you can get to a plateau as well. And then when you want to scale the business up, or maybe start a second business or a third business, you can hit the same kind of mental barrier, can't you? Where you've mastered yourself to a certain level to operate, but then to take the next step, you have to change and you have to grow, you have to develop in order.
Yeah, that's so true. It's, like you said, it's definitely applicable at all stages of the journey, because when you say, start a new business venture and you've already got one that's successful, you can definitely take a lot from that and it makes it a lot easier. But, still you're navigating a new space. So again, you need to prepare for the mental game. You need to, do as much research you can within your field, and never really get complacent. I would say that's another important thing. Always look for things to improve. And that's why, the main focus of my blog is personal development. We never get too old or too wise for personal development. We need it at all stages of our lives and our businesses, because there's always something we can improve. And, as long as your competitors are improving, absolutely, you need to be looking for ways to improve.
Yeah, that's so true. And like everything around us is constantly changing, isn't it? There are different innovations, different technologies. Our customers are changing, maybe embracing different things as well. We need to adapt where we need to as well. And I guess one of the things is be open and aware of the fact that, I do need to stay innovative as well, rather than just same old, because this is what's working at the moment. It's like, but it might not in a few months' time, mightn't it? That's the thing. So,
exactly.
That's really good. You also help people with emotional intelligence, don't you? Tell us a little bit about how people can improve and be more aware of their emotions.
Emotional intelligence is a component that that is going to make sure that you're happy. And don't we all want that? We want to be happy where we are. And you can't really, feel that happiness for a prolonged period of time unless you learn how to manage your emotions. I mean, one of the most popular posts on my website right now is a post that I wrote about training your mind to be stronger than your emotions. Always balancing the logical side with the emotional side. It's a fine balance because we need both.
Yeah.
But when you're emotionally intelligent, then you're able to manage both your emotions and the emotions of other people. And, there's no way, especially in business, but in personal life too, there's no way that you can go about your daily activities without having to interact with other people. You're going to, meet some people who perhaps say things that you don't quite like or that gets you down a bit. And emotional intelligence, learning to manage your emotions is what's going to help you to overcome those obstacles, work with the other person, and get to a better place in the end. So yeah, for me, the most important thing, one of the most important things when, improving your own emotional intelligence is to take a self-assessment. This requires honesty. Sometimes we don't always like what we see when we ask ourselves the question, how emotionally intelligent am I right now? But it's necessary, because only when you acknowledge and realize where you are right now can you make those improvements that are needed. So, asking yourself, am I quick to lose my temper, or, do I pause, reflect on situations before I give an answer? 10 times out of 10, just pausing when something gets you really highly strung or emotional is going to make such a difference, in the outcome. So all these, small things seemingly can make such a big difference when it comes to emotional intelligence.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Interesting, actually. There's a clinical psychologist, Dr. Robbie Sonderegger, who I heard him a while back. And one of the things he said, kind of on that, go away and count to 10 if you can, let your emotions cool down. He said a good way of doing it is if you're in a situation where you can remove yourself from the environment to do it, is count backwards, but use 3-digit numbers. So like 199, 198, 197, because it slows your thinking down from the way you're feeling. I don't know all the chemicals in the brain, how that works, but it forces part of the brain to focus on a different part of the brain or something. And it works, doesn't it? It really does. It's, if you're able to do that, you just calm yourself down a bit, and then
Calms you down.
Yeah, you're in a better place to then decide, how am I going to respond? What's the best way to respond? Yeah, that's really good.
Absolutely.
Is that linked with intrapersonal intelligence? Because that was another area that you were on.
Yeah, intrapersonal intelligence and emotional intelligence absolutely linked. We have all these intelligences, and perhaps I think the one that we probably talk about most is interpersonal intelligence. Ends in TER. But intrapersonal intelligence is important too. So interpersonal intelligence is knowing how to work with other people, having those people skills.
Yeah.
Intrapersonal intelligence is understanding yourself. And once you understand yourself, that's when you can kind of better work with other people. So yeah, I think, knowing your own motivations, knowing why you do what you do, you kind of have to, sometimes you have to take a third person approach, I would say. Look at yourself, but try and look at yourself, from an outside perspective. Sometimes you have to go outside to be able to understand yourself better, understand what causes you to act in the way you do. And then, reconciling that with how you feel.
Yeah.
So again, that's emotional intelligence. But I think it's, super important. It's something that helped me to overcome my shyness, understanding that, yeah, I was shy. Perhaps there were certain reasons for that, but I had so much to say. And so when I understood myself as a person, my interests, my hobbies, like who I enjoy being around, what I enjoy doing, it made me be able to express that in a better way on the outside.
Okay. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I think I really like the idea of people doing a self-audit. I think it's key to take time aside and just sort of sit down and be honest with themselves. And it's the how do I actually respond rather than how would I like to respond, isn't it? It's kind of like if we answer it on this would be really nice, but I'm not there yet. You have to get that balance, don't you? I think also a good thing is get people around you that you trust, that you can, they can speak into your life and tell you the blind spots you have, because the reason why they're blind spots is because we don't see them ourselves, but they can be sort of glaringly obvious to other people as well. So I think that's really good.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I think the whole coaching, mentoring side of it, get a third person or third party in, an outsider, that just helps you navigate and process the different things. So, no, that was good. I'm glad you touched on how you sort of overcame shyness as well, because I'm kind of curious and intrigued a bit as well. I think it's very commendable that you have, and I'm glad you have, because you're now sharing your insights with us. At what point did you think I now need to make it a business, or was that almost the secondary thing? Was the first step I want to get what I want to say out there, and then you look to see, okay, maybe a business venture?
Yeah, that's a good question. For me, I can't really remember the exact point where I thought, okay, this is what I want to do to help other people as a business. But I will say that I think most people who are interested in personal development, many people, not all of them, but many people really love the idea of, working for themselves, being their own boss. So there was that part of me that was like, I want a job that allows me freedom to travel, to, have more flexibility in my schedule. And then the other part of me that's like, I love writing. I love sharing with people online, getting their response, hearing people's feedback on, the ways that, my work has helped them. And it was the perfect match. And I was like, I need to go ahead with this.
Yeah. And I guess maybe you encountered a few challenges on the way that with regards to mindset, personal growth, that you had to grow and overcome as well, which then became what you wrote about as well, I suppose.
Yes, I absolutely.
Any particular challenges that you can think of that if you shared them, you think would help some of the audience? You've mentioned quite a bit already, but I'm just curious if there's any others.
Yeah, I think, the reason why I write so much about the mental game is because I have experienced these things myself. For me, there's always the aspect of timing, which is, something that I just mentioned at the outset, is that things will not always happen at the time that you want them to happen. So for me, I've had to learn a lot of patience. I've had to learn to, not play the comparison game. Yeah. The amount that someone else took to do something is not the amount of time that I'm going to take to do something. I have to realize that I'm on my own path. I'm on my own journey, and really learning to appreciate the milestones. One of my favorite, phrases is just trust the process, enjoy the journey. I've really enjoyed learning to enjoy the journey, to be happy where I am right now, and know that better things, are on the way. Like, we all make progress. Yeah. I don't think, many people are saying that they're exactly where they want to be right now, but it's a gradual thing. And so I always take inspiration from people who have that resilience and who keep on working, even when they are not where they want to be right now. And for me, one of the most important things is to burn the boat. So burning the boat is a concept that originated with ancient military commanders. So they would, tell their soldiers to burn the boats when they were going to capture an island, so as to create a point of no return. If the boat is burnt, then if it goes bad, you can't go back, you can't retreat. You have to stay and face the battle. And so I think that in a more practical sense, of course, we need to be sensible, but I think the way that I try to apply that is to go 100% with every endeavor that, I get involved with. I want to put 100% in. I don't want to be thinking in my mind, plan B, plan C, plan A. That's what we're here for. Plan B, plan C, probably going to distract you because the back of your mind, you're thinking something else, but you need to go all in and focus on the task at hand.
Yeah, absolutely. I really like that. I'm a great believer as well. It's like there may be many versions of plan A. That's the way I will look at it, but never get to plan B. It's like, why would you want to live thinking that, well, I didn't make plan A, so I have to settle with plan B? It's like, no, you just stay with plan A. You keep tweaking it. It might look a lot different at the end of it than when you started, but you stay with that. You stay committed. I think that's really good, because it's about finding your passion, isn't it? And if you're passionate about something, that's not suddenly going to disappear. You have to feed it, obviously. But yeah, you align your values with your passion and you put your effort there. That's where you find most fulfillment, isn't it? So it makes a lot of sense. Yeah. And some good keys in what you said about staying focused. Burn the boats, make sure that you are all in, you are committed, you're not just half and half. I think that's really good. Maybe just what would be really useful now? I know that, as I mentioned in the introduction, you help people with a personal development plan. So for people that maybe don't know what that is, what it looks like, do I need one? Chat a little bit around why you think it's important and how it can help people.
Yeah, personal development planning is something that's really important to me, because at the end of the day, a personal development plan is a plan for what you want to achieve tomorrow, next month, in the upcoming years. And it all stemmed for me from, the idea, I think someone once said that if you don't plan your life, then you're going to have to settle with what someone else has planned for you. You're just going to fit around other people's plans. And guess what they have planned for you? Not much.
Yeah.
So you need to, it's something that's really helpful to be proactive, to look at your goals. And so the personal development plan that I have on my website, it's, it's not a one-page chart. I believe there's about 16 pages where you really build that intrapersonal intelligence. You dig deeper, we go beyond the surface level. Because, one thing I found in my case is that I'm the sort of person that goes, full speed ahead with my goals. Like once I've committed to something, I go ahead with it. But then the issue then is finding the right goal to devote yourself to. Because if you're going to spend so much time on something, you want to make sure that it's meaningful. So you want to direct your energy and effort in the right direction. So the personal development plan that I've created kind of helps you identify what kind of goals would be most meaningful to you as an individual. Not what someone else thinks you should do, but what would actually benefit you as an individual, and help you find that kind of direction.
Sounds really good. Yeah. And if it's more than one page, 16 pages or so, you said, that's really good, because it's people can work at it gradually, but it digs deep into the why do you want to do what you do, what's stopping you, and all of those sorts of things. That's really good. I think the biggest danger that we have as business owners is we think, that's amazing, wouldn't that be nice to do? But then we never set time to do it, and it's like, no, that's not the way you're going to grow. It's not the way you're going to learn. And also, the more, in some ways, it makes perfect sense that the best return on investment you can get is by growing yourself. And yet, in lots of different ways, it seems to be a lower priority because cash flow, new clients, whatever the other areas that we're trying to build in. It's like, yeah, you've got to get the foundation right first, haven't you? So that's really good. And that's available on your website just as a free download?
Yep, it's a free download. If you go to roliedema.com, you'll see the page on the home page, on any page you go to, you'll be able to find a form where you can sign up for the plan and you'll get it instantly. So that's something that, people can potentially get working on today.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. Definitely. And yeah, I'm a great advocate of personal growth as well. I've seen the benefits in my own life, as well as my clients. So it makes perfect sense for me as well to also agree with Roli that everybody listening, go get a copy of it. Even if you've got one, check hers out just to see, maybe you can tweak yours. Maybe there's bits that she's got in there that you haven't thought about. Yeah. And then if you need to, have a conversation with her about how to take that further and take it forward. But definitely also check out some blogs that she's written as well. They're really key.
Yeah, I'm always looking. I'm always, welcome to people replying back to me on the emails to let me know how you're doing with your journey. I love to hear what people are achieving, what they're up to. So I'm definitely open to that.
Yeah. No, that sounds good. There will be a link below for everyone listening. Wherever you're listening to this, there'll be a link to Roli's website below. So make sure you do check it out. We've got a few more minutes before we wrap this episode up. So I just want to dig a little bit more into this fascinating topic. I think it's amazing. One of the reasons why I like it, I don't think, we never get to the point where we completely master our mindset, do we? Not for a long period of time. It's one of those things, you can be really good one day and then for whatever reason, something happens. And if you're not consciously aware of it, you can get sucked into the wrong emotions, end up feeling the wrong way, making poor decisions. The list goes on. We've all been there. We know. But the good news in what you're saying is we don't have to stay there, do we? We can change the way we think about things the more aware we are of it. What would be one of the things that we could nurture the right sort of emotions that maybe you haven't covered yet, but you think would be a good point to share?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a continuous process. The thing that, you needed to work on a year ago might not be the same thing that you need to work on today. Things change and, as we've seen, things can change very quickly. Mm-hmm. But one particular area that has helped me, which is directly related to that, is being comfortable with change. So a fantastic book I'd recommend. Yeah, I'm not affiliated with it or in any way, but a book that's personally benefited me is Who Moved My Cheese by Dr. Spencer Johnson. It's an excellent book that kind of uses a tale of two mice and two little people to explain the way that humans generally deal with change, which is not very well. Yeah. And, after what we've been through in the last few months, that is more relevant than ever. So what that book helped me to do is kind of develop an anticipatory approach to change. So anticipating change, yeah. And thinking about it a long time before it happens. And also realizing that the only constant in life is change.
Yeah.
So I think if you learn to become more comfortable with that, it's something that will benefit you in all areas of your life. It really will, because we always have to deal with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I've read that book as well many years ago. But yeah, that it's really, I was going to say it's simple. It's simple but profound. It's written in such a good way. Perfect book to read to children as well. I think get the message in straight away, and it's easy to grasp. But yeah, it's the paradox, really, isn't it? That our subconscious mind wants to keep us in a safe place that we feel we're in control. but we die if we stay there. we
Yeah.
have to, we have to navigate change. And like you say, if we're rigid to change, we're not going to adapt well. If we're embracing change and aware that it's just part of the journey, isn't it? We navigate it a lot better. And to be honest, if we look back at where any of us were 5 years ago, the people that we were 5 years ago, hopefully we can see a marked change to now that's positive. And then you look back and it's like, yeah, why would I still want to live like that? That way of thinking, that approach in scenario situations, how I handle people, whatever the areas that we've overcome more. It's uncomfortable to get to where we are, potentially. It's also courageous, I would say, because it does take effort. It does take us getting outside of our comfort zones. But yeah, you're right. It's like, it's the best way to go, isn't it? It's the moment you stop growing, you regress, don't you? So if you're not growing and learning more things, then you're going backwards.
I think as humans, that we have, a fear of uncertainty. But at the same time, it's like, if I told you that you're going to be in the same place where you are 5 years from that, from 5 years from now, you probably wouldn't like it. Because you do want to be, in a better position. So, and uncertainty is just going to come with that. So like we definitely embrace, stability, but there's a lot of beautiful things that change can bring about. And even if it's not what we thought it was, things can turn out for the better. And things often, I found from my personal experience, are not as scary as they seem.
Absolutely. Yeah. But we only really discover that as we step into it, don't we? That's it's like until you do, you're never going to find out. But once you do, it's like, that's not so bad actually. And it's so much better. I think that's a really good way of putting it. So thank you for everything you shared with us. We do need to wrap it up now. Alas, we have run out of time. But there's lots of stuff you shared that people can just take and put into practice straight away. I would definitely recommend everybody, as I said, check out Roli's website. The link will be below. And then are you on social media as well? Can people follow you? Different platforms?
So you can also find me on Twitter at Roli Edema.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, definitely. Thank you again for sharing. I think you should definitely come back and chat to us some more, because I'd love to talk further on this topic, because I think it's key, it's really helpful. And, all your insights that you shared just goes to show you can really help people. So,
Thank you. I really enjoyed this. I always love chatting about personal development, and it's so nice, I think with your podcast, you're really providing a lot of valuable insights for business owners. So it's really awesome, the work that you guys do.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, that's good to hear. I didn't ask her to say that just for everybody that's listening, but it's nice to hear. Yeah, both. I mean, the reason Yeukai set the podcast up many years ago was he's passionate about helping people. He really is. And I've jumped on board because we share that same value. And we're learning as we go as well. We're learning from our guests, from each other, from life experiences. But there's always things that we can share and help other people. So that's a really good way to wrap it up. Thank you. It's nice to finish on a compliment.
It's true.
Thank you, Roli. And thanks everyone for listening as well. Definitely check out Roli's website. Read the blogs, because it will do you good. We all need to grow, but we can. We believe you can. Your best days are definitely ahead if you're intentional about growing. And as Roli said, it's not as daunting once you're there and as you take the steps. So definitely be proactive about it. And also tune into all the episodes that follow as well, because they'll be good as well and help you in your business. So, but that's it for now. Thanks for joining us, and we will catch you next time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to Yeukai Business Show. We will be back to bring you more episodes with success stories and advice straight from the experts. Want more? Check out www.yukaibusinessshow.com. Get your free trial of our virtual assistant service today. Just visit www.worldoutsourcingsolutions.com. Quote WOS18 or send us an email at support@worldoutsourcingsolutions.com.